Alright, Dark Souls, a game where you spend souls to level up and upgrade your weapons. But what if we didn't do any of that? Is it possible to beat Dark Souls without spending a single soul? Well, the answer is yes, and it's easier than you might expect. Before we get into that, let's go over the rules. Rule number 1. No spending souls. This means no leveling, no upgrading weapons, and no buying items for NPCs. 2. No glitches or modifications of any kind. This is vanilla DSR. With that all out of the way, let's get right into it. Starting at character creation, we pick Warrior. This choice will be obvious later on when we pick up our main weapon for the run. We also pick Master Key as our starting gift for very obvious reasons. We enter the beef jerky manufacturing company and run through as normal, making sure to pick up the longsword and Estus from Oscar. We plunge Big Booty Brown and finish him off with R2s and head to Firelink Shrine. From there, we make a mad dash to Undead Burg, where I spend a few minutes farming the hollows with a battle axe. This will be our main weapon for a while until we can access Sun's Fortress and get a better weapon. Now we head to New Londo, where we got the Firekeeper Soul and totally don't die. We head back down the elevator where we head to Blighttown. We nail Quicktown first try and head to Quelaag. And yeah, the damage isn't exactly great, but it gets the job done after a long tedious battle. At one point, I actually get stuck underneath her and manage to not die by some miracle. Well, it's the first bell rung and just one to go. Heading back home to Firelink, we upgrade our Estus Flask and head through the Valley of the Drakes, making a point to grab Red Tearstone Ring and go up to Darkroot Basin where we play with the Black Knight a little bit and grab the Weed Shield. And then we head to Andre, kill him for the Crest Victorious. It was at this point where I stupidly decided to go to Forest Covenant and kick Ninja Gaiden off a cliff and pick up his gym membership. With our chores out of the way, we go and challenge Benedict Arnold to a boxing match, where he falls on the floor and gives me his hand in marriage. Now with a family of 4, I run away and killed some weird looking birds, where we were able to one-cycle the first gargoyle due to the high poise damage of the axe, and the second gargoyle goes down with little to no fuss. That's 2 bells down, and now it's time for everyone's favorite bounce house. Once inside everyone's favorite bounce house, we run past the Snake Men and make our way across the super safe bridges. Up past my favorite ball into the Mimic where I would throw Lloyd's Talisman at him, but I actually forgot to pick him up back at Firelink Shrine, and I really don't feel like going back there for them, so we just kill him the old-fashioned way. After putting the Mimic to bed, we grab a massive upgrade to our damage, the Lightning Spear. It's essentially a pre-upgraded plus 10 weapon that does half lightning, half thrust damage. Not the best, but will certainly be very useful for the upcoming boss. Speaking of which, it's time for the Iron Golem. We pop into Red Tearstone range and hit him in the ankles twice, which makes him stagger. And from there, we can actually finish the fight with one more R2. And it's time to head to the Pearly Gates. Once inside Anor Londo, we snag the bonfire and clear out the room with the 2 giants so we can fight the Mimic one-on-one. Yeah, you know where this is going. This is the main reason we chose the Warrior. It has very high base stats in Dex and Strength, so we can actually use the Crystal Halberd right off the bat, and the Crystal Halberd actually has massive damage at the cost of very low durability, so we're going to have to be very sparing with this weapon, but it's going to be a huge help for the next few bosses. After making it past the Anor Londo archers, we make it inside where we light the bonfire and grab yet another Mimic. This time for the Occult Club. I wasn't sure if this would be helpful, but boy am I glad I picked this up. We take the superintended shortcut, and now it's time for my favorite part of 50 Shades of Grey, because it's a 2v1. Real talk, these two were a bit problematic because of Red Tearstone Ring, but I'll let you watch the fight for yourself, because I'm actually quite proud of it. After a few too many close calls, we grabbed the Lord Vessel from the Jugs and fast traveled to Darkroot. And because I'm a cat person, it's time to take on Danger Doggo. We grabbed the Horny Jail Ring, and it's time to slay Puppy. This fight was not up to my standards, and I was playing extremely sloppy, but he gets euthanized nonetheless after 2 attempts. I'll let you watch the fight for yourself. Well, it's time to head to New Orlando. We go through the area as normal, getting gang raped by the ghost on ladder of course, and then we convince a cult member to give us a key to his pool, which we then activate. It's time for the Four Kings, and this fight was absolutely brutal. This took way too many attempts than I cared to admit, and most of the attempts died in the water just trying to get into red tearstone range before the fight even began. This is by far the hardest fight of the run, but luckily we never had to fight more than one king at a time, but it was getting very close to that. After slaying the Four Kings, we place the Lord Vessel and teleport to Firelink Shrine, where we head towards the Catacombs. It's mostly same old in the Catacombs, then we do the Catacomb skip first try and run past the Bonewheel skeletons. Now, I shouldn't have to tell you that Pinwheel's an absolute joke of a fight, as he always is, and he dropped Mask of the Father, which was nice, but I was really hoping for Mask of the Mother for the 10% increase to health. Uh, oh well. We grabbed the bonfire in the to the giants, and we grabbed the slumbering Drancust ring from Sense Fortress and Ring of Fog from trading the Skull Lantern with Snuggly the Crow, but I did actually forget to record that. We finished Tomb of the Giants by blindly running around through the area, which isn't so hard as long as you know the path. Neo's domain is the same as usual, and we equip our Stealth Boy rings and jump into Nito's arena. Fun little fact, the skeletons won't notice you if you have both stealth rings equipped, and with them out of the picture, Nito is an absolute breeze, and we take him out on our very first try. It's time to head back to Blight Town and unlock the Lost Isla shortcut. We jump into the Demon Ruins and take out Ceaseless Discharge with Will's no trouble as per usual. We try to take out the Wall Snake, but he actually ends up breaking my Crystal Halberd prematurely, and we're stuck with the Lightning Spear from here on out. It's time for the usual bed of BS shenanigans, and she goes down with relative ease on her very first try. That's 3 or 4 Lord Souls down, just one to go. Because we broke our Crystal Halberd, I go back to Anne Orlando and commit unspeakable war crimes to my favorite partner in crime. With our newly acquired Giant's Blacksmith Hammer, it feels like time to take out Duke's Archives. It's the usual slog of trying to get to Seath, and we take her mandatory death. It's time for a jailbreak, so we go down Hentai Lane and grab the super secret key past the super secret guards, and it's time to get out of here. We unlock the shortcut to the Crystal Caves, and it's time to take out the final Lord Soul. We struggled to get into Red Tearstone range, but once we do, he goes down with very, very little fuss. That's all 4 lords, and now it's just time for Gwen. Yeah, this is why I'm glad to have picked up the Occult Club. Gwen has ridiculously high lightning resistance, and our Lightning Spear or Lightning Hammer just will not do the trick with him. We equip the Horny Ring and get into Red Tearstone range as always, and we parry Gwen's opener and just repeat that until he's dead. We heal up at one point to play it safe, just in case, and that's it. That's Gwen, the Lord of Cinder, on our very first try. I bet most of you are wondering where the DLC and the rest of the bosses are. Unfortunately, I didn't bother with them because this is mostly just a passion project, so for whatever reason, if you want to see a part 2, I'll be more than happy to record one. But yeah, that's it. That's the end of the run. Thank you all so much for watching, and have a wonderful day. Don't you dare go hollow.